Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Friday Live. I am super excited this week to be joined by one of my favorite people. Kelly Walters is joining all the way from America. Kelly, thank you for taking the time out of your day to come and do this with me.
Anytime, Molly, I will sign up to work with you like at the drop of a hat.
It's the best. We always have the best time.
We do. Love it.
So we wanted to do this follow-up live today because for those of you that did attend our global masterclass session, you will know that Kelly and I did the heat press basics 101 kind of session, and we ran through everything you need to know about heat presses, the functionalities. We did a little bit of pressing at the end, a bit of fusing, but we didn't really get time to do as much physical demonstrating with the presses as we would have liked. Hence why we've jumped on another live today for you guys to do everything that we need to do with these presses today. So we've got 4 machines. So Kelly has got an auto open heat press and a Hotronics 360. I always do that as well.
I'm like, it's backwards.
Wrong way. And I've got the Fusion IQ here and the Air Fusion IQ as well. We always do a lot of content with the dual Air Fusion IQ, but we never really use the single. So I thought it'd be fun to get this one out today and show you guys a little bit about how it works. So yeah, we're just going to do a lot of talking about the presses, a lot of fusing, a lot of demonstrating. So if you have got any questions as we go, do feel free to pop them in the chat. I've got Beth with me on this side who's going to be in the comments, replying to you all, reading them out to us. We're going to answer them as we go. And yeah, it's going to be a fun Friday Live. So let's get started. Kelly, did you want to give a little bit of an introduction to everyone about who you are, what you do at Stahls, just in case they haven't seen our masterclass session?
Sure. So guys, I'm Kelly Walters, like Molly said, and I am the content strategy manager here for Stahls and Transfer Express. Now it's kind of interesting when somebody asks me like, what is it that you do? And because I feel like I do anything and everything that somebody needs me to at Stahls, but it's really all about content and education and content from a customer understanding perspective. It's not about just being, like on TV or on Instagram. It's really about making sure that our customers, wherever you may be, really understand what you can do with our products, what you can do with a heat press, and really helping you grow your business. So you'll see me on YouTube, you'll see me on Instagram. I help with creation of our product guides, merchandising at booths. So when you see a decorated garment, normally I've put some thought and process into that in making sure that it really relates to whomever's viewing it. So I wear many hats here, but the easiest thing to say is content and education. So there you go.
I think that's a great way of putting it, because especially when you work in marketing, it can be so easy to just think we need to have the most engagement, the most followers. We need to, drive our social channels and our YouTube as much as possible. But everything that we do at Stahls and at Stahls UK is to help our customers grow their business. So what Kelly just said about, our content being customer understanding focused is so, so important. And I think it really, really sums up what we do, because every single time we create a piece of content, the thought behind it is, how is this going to help you start, run, or grow your business? So that's basically another thing that we're doing today, helping you figure out which heat press you want to be your first heat press, or what heat press you want to upgrade to. Of course, it should be a Hotronics machine. So we're going to run through, like I said, the Hotronics Auto Open Press, which is one of the most popular ones, I would say, along with the Fusion IQ, from it kind of an entry level, but also will grow with your business forever point of view, because, with the long warranty on the heating element and all of the different functionalities that you have, like with the interchangeable platens and everything you can do with the press, it will really take your business to the next level and grow with you, rather than you needing to purchase, say, the Auto Open now and then an Air Fusion in 5 years' time. Whichever one you pick will grow with your business. We're just going to help you grow your business to the point where you can afford 2 presses and run 2 presses full time. So that's the end goal here, right? So shall we get started with the Auto Open? Do you want to kick us off, Kelly, with the one that you've got behind you? Because I know that that's probably one that people have got so many questions about, because we talk about it all the time. And it is, along with the Fusion IQ, like I said, one of the sort of best entry-level machines for someone who's looking to start a business.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as we are going through presses, guys, there's one thing that I really want you to keep in mind. It does not matter what I call the brain, the capability of the press, the heating element that you're getting in whoop, this side, the auto clam or the fusion or the air fusion that Molly's going to be showing, the heating element is the same. So it's not like we're going to be showing you different levels of presses in terms of quality. The only thing that we're going to be showing you that is different is functionality, brains, and then really kind of preference of manual labor, really. So as we go through things, if you have questions, please pop them down below. I'm going to scoot my camera just a little bit closer. That way you can kind of see the presses as we get down into it a little bit better. But then if I'm out of shot, just know that I'm obviously still here. It just might be a weird angle. Okay, so I'm going to scoot her closer. Okay, so let's figure out the angles here. This
There you go, you got it.
I know, I'm like, let me stand in front of the press. So this is the auto clam, okay? And as you can see, it's a clam shell, so that means it's going to be the back part of the press is going to almost be touching, and then the front part is going to be nice and wide open. Now, we call this an auto clam because once you close it and the timer's done, it's going to automatically pop open, making it that auto feature. Now, like I said, the heating element in all of our presses are identical that we're going to be going over. That means the portion right here covering up the heating coil is as thick throughout all of them. So it's extremely, extremely durable. And as you have a ton of use from this, you're not going to have any warping in the heating element. Sometimes with other presses, especially if you are looking at something from a very affordable or cost-effective price point, it's not going to be as durable to grow with your business the more you're using it. So of course, if you are crafting and you're just slowly, rolling out that business or trying to gain business, this is something that's going to be able to grow with you for years. And I will tell you, people that have been in business for 10, 20 years are still using this press because of the reliability, the quality of it, and just the ease. So let's go over the time, temperature, and pressure, which is very, very key when it comes to a successful recipe with any type of heat decoration. So if you currently have a press now and you can't adjust the pressure and you cannot adjust the correct time, meaning you're in that high-low range, or let's say you have a 260, 290, 320 type of temperature, just keep in mind that 5 degrees can be a huge difference on either really overheating the adhesive, but also killing the fibers in your garment. Okay, so little key elements there. So as we look here, we do have an over the center of the platen pressure adjustment. This is knob. So when you turn it, that's going to adjust the pressure either way. Now, the cool thing is bear with me. We're going to get just a little bit closer. Let's see if we can do this. Is that better? Yeah.
Perfect.
So it's not really in focus, but you can see the timer counting down. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to hold it to where you can see it so we're not setting off the timer. But this little red portion right here, whenever we put a garment and fully close the press, that's going to change a number from 0 to 9. Now, that is going to be our pressure readout. So 1, 2, 3 is going to be a low pressure, 4, 5, 6 is medium, and 7 to 9 is going to be high. So when you're looking at your transfers and your applications and it says a medium pressure or 40 to 60 pounds, whatever, that's where you're going to want to see that number so we have that accuracy. If you're pressing too light in pressure, then you may not be getting the correct type of application that you want, especially for some of those materials that might be a little bit thicker. And we really need to make sure that that adhesive is truly being secured onto that garment or item, whatever you're pressing. Now, this is a very simple machine. It's a very trustworthy machine. And it's one that I know a lot of people call it like a workhorse. Now, right here, there's a middle button that says mode. And when I press that, these 3 dots right here are going to light up. That means I'm in set mode. So I can adjust the temperature just by hitting that up and down button. I hit mode again and I go into time. So that means my first press is going to be at 4 seconds. I hit it again and my second press is going to be at 6 seconds. Hit mode again and all 3 of those dots are now off, which means my press is set. So this is a very, very easy machine to set up, adjust, change, quick on the fly. If you're considering doing events, it is one of our lighter machines compared to some of the others that Molly's going to go over. And of course, it does have the interchangeable platens. So right now, I do have the tag-along platen in here. But when I remove this, the 16 by 20 or 4 by 6 or 7-inch round, 4 by 4, leg and sleeve, whatever we want to put in here fits very, very easily. There's not a lot of time involved in terms of changing your platens to your garments to your jobs. This is the latch that's going to lock down and lock it into place. So you will see this exact same setup on the other presses as well, meaning I could use this platen across multiple different presses. So if you're growing and you've got handy dandy auto clam over here, and later on you decide to go with an air fusion, the beautiful thing about Hotronix is with most of our presses, those platens are going to be interchangeable. So as Molly talked about having something that grows with your business, it does truly grow. It's not something where you're having to get a new system every single time, unless technology has changed, or of course we've developed something that's even easier than a pin and a kind of like a latch. So back in here, click, and then now it's in there nice and secure. So in terms of, functionality, same thing, right? We've got the durable heating element. We've got an easy way of setting your time, temperature, and pressure and getting that accuracy on readout. And then, of course, we have the interchangeable platens. Now, I will say my press does have the tabletop stand. Sorry, we're sliding. I was like, yeah, it's going to tumble. And that allows me to thread the garment, which I will show you in just a little bit. Without this stand right here, it's only going to be about 3-4 inches above the table, which basically eliminates the ability to open the garment or accessory like a pillowcase and then slide it onto the platen. Now, as some of you are going, well, I don't thread anyway, so why does it matter? The biggest thing is making sure that we have a beautiful surface to heat apply. It's like a giant panini press, right? And at any time if something is warped or off or we have bumps, that means we're not going to have the type of heat and pressure accuracy that we need, because there's going to be a tiny bump in the way. So that bump is going to get the majority of the pressure and the heat versus wherever our transfer is. So if you guys have any questions about this press, pop them in. I'm going to show you how simple it is to heat apply. I'm going to be using a goof-proof transfer, which is a screen printed transfer. Yes, it is true plastisol ink. So when I say we are decorating with screen print or you can screen print, you're actually using plastisol ink, which everyone ties to as screen print. So
just without the mess, right?
What'd you say?
Just without the mess. You get the plastisol ink with no screens, no need to dry.
Everything that Molly just said. So this is a screen printed transfer. This is currently ganged. So right now I have 2 sleeve prints with a center front center logo. And this is how it comes, right? So all I have to do is cut apart our designs and place it onto the garment, heat apply for 4 to 6 seconds, and we're done. So like Molly said, there's no screens, there's no cleanup, there's no burning, there's no 5 different people trying to just make sure that your screen printing has a nice and efficient flow to it. You upload your artwork or you design and it gets sent to you. So in terms of ease and speed, holy smokes, it's just beautiful, right? It just makes it so much easier. So I'm going to cut this apart. And then I'm going to take my sweatshirt. So this is just a Bella Canvas sponge fleece. Now, like I said, we're going to thread it. So I'm going to open it up like a pillowcase, slide it on. And then one thing that I love about the tag-along platen is that it's got these shoulders and neck. Even if I'm not tagging the inside label, I just love because of the simplicity and really just making sure that your shoulder's not like this on, a standard 16 by 20. But there's also different reasons why this press is just fantastic, whether you're doing a sleeve, a neck, a back neck. So inside label, back neck. It's just versatility, and I really, really appreciate efficiency and accuracy. So you can be efficient, but you also need to be accurate. So my press is currently set at 369 now since I adjusted it and never put it back. But that's okay. We need to be at 365 for goof-proof or screen printed transfers through Transfer Express. And what I'm going to do here is, because this is grid, and I can't really see what everything is doing. Most of the time it is lined up in the center, but I really like to take it to some light and then just make sure that I am taking the ink and lining it up where I need to find my center. Now, if you notice, I have not punctured or pierced or creased the ink. I'm only creasing the paper, which is going to give me the center point whenever I line that up.
That's such a great tip, because I think with screen printed transfers, and for those of you watching in the UK, Goof Proof is our 1 to 5 color screen. It's exactly the same product, just one's America and one's made in the UK. But from what Kelly just said, everybody loves Ultra Color and DTF because of the clear carrier, right? Because it makes placement so much easier. Perfect example. There we have it. So it makes it a lot easier because you can physically see where you're placing your design. But that's such a great tip with the screen print transfers, to just mark your center point, and it just eliminates that error.
And for those of you that I'm a particular poly. Okay. So I can see everything. I see so many details. It's a blessing and a curse. And as you can see, it is almost on that center line. But to me, as a decorator, somebody that's producing products for other people, I think quality is so important. And quality can be the consistency of, the durability of whatever you're decorating. But I think quality also stands in placement, accuracy, and really providing a high level garment. So this one is just you can't see it, the light, just a tiny bit off.
Yeah, when you come closer.
What'd you say?
When you come closer, you can, yeah, there you go.
There we go. So it's this one, and it's just slightly off. Not enough to where I think somebody would go, oh my gosh, that is, 1 centimeter off, but I know that. So that's why I do what I do. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is we're only about a finger width down from this print. Sometimes with screen printed transfers, it might be 3 fingers down. So really all you need to do is place it on the collar, and you're about that 3 fingers down, unless you prefer to go a little bit higher or a little bit lower. So the thing that I need to keep in mind is whenever I'm placing my transfer, if I want it to be high up, then we're fine. But if I want it to be more of the center chest because it's a little bit longer, then that's something else to consider. So I'm going to go about 3 fingers down, and then I'm going to place my transfer. Then I'm going to step in front of this for just a hair to make sure that my design is centered.
It has to be done on a live. Sometimes you just have to do it.
I was like, I'm trying, but I really want to be accurate.
I always do that.
Accuracy. So here we go.
If there's ever a minute that I'd like try and do it sideways, it's always wonky. Always wonky. I can't do it.
As many times as I've been on camera and trying to do it, I'm like, I can sometimes get it, but then I feel like it's not, 100%.
Not
and I
perfect.
just talked about accuracy. So I'm like, let's make sure we're doing this correct. But now the beautiful thing about this is a hot peel. It's a very, very quick hot peel. So when my heating element pops open, it's very important that we go in and we peel the transfer. We don't want to let that cool. We don't want to let that sit. Plastisol ink can be a little finicky. So it's very important that it's high heat, quick time, hot peel, and it's done. So I'm just going to bring this guy down. I didn't pre-press. So pre-press for 4 seconds, then apply for 6. But I can at least show you that it still turned out great in terms of application. So it's a little bit lower probably than what I wanted to go. So I could have gone up a little bit higher. But for something like this, we have a little bit of a tonal look. And then, of course, contrasting going on. So this is just a great way to produce those screen printed transfers that give you that distressed look. But then for somebody that's going to come in and go, I want screen print. Maybe they don't even really know the difference. They just call it screen print. You have the ability to be a decorator that can decorate via screen print, decorate via direct to film, full color, glitter, embroidery, twill, right? So this isn't just for, a thin transfer. It can be so much more.
I think that looks so good. I love that.
It's fun,
right? It feels very autumnal. I know it's January, but it's got that kind of vibe.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's fun. I like it. I like doing like unique colors like that too. I think it makes it stand out just a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to note for everyone watching as well, in terms of, I know we're talking about heat presses today, and that is what we are going to stick to, but I just want to touch for a second on different heat transfer types, right? Because we get quite a lot of questions on which transfer type should I use and when, and Kelly's just demonstrated very, very nicely the screen print transfers, but we do obviously have direct to film transfers, and we have digital hybrid transfers, which we call ultra color transfers as well. Now, when it comes, as Kelly just said, sometimes your customer will come to you and say, I want this design, I want that design. They may have seen something that they like the look of and they think it's a certain decoration method, but you are the expert, you're the decorator, and they're coming to you for your expertise. So you need to be able to take what they want and take what they're asking for and say, this product will work best for you. If they want screen print, perfect. Give them screen print, that's fine. If they come to you with something that's a bit more full color, then the more cost effective compressors just come on, don't mind me. Can everyone still hear me while we go through this? I'm just gonna, hopefully everyone can hear me. We'll bear with, we'll go with it. Okay, I'm gonna keep talking even though the compressor's maneuvering. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, transfers. So ultra color transfers from a color point of view are going to be the more cost effective way to print those designs. So even though I'm really paranoid that this is too loud, I can't even hear Kelly now. Bear with us, everyone.
I stopped talking, so I was letting you. Can you hear me?
Oh no, I can hear you now. That's okay.
I think you sound. I can hear you just fine. I do hear a compressor, but I still hear you over that. So
I think it's because it's so loud in my ear that it's just completely distracting me from what I'm doing. So transfers. Sorry guys, I'll get back to what I was saying. So transfers. Somebody will come to you and say, I want this. You need to be able to pick the right product. If you're doing something with between 1 and 5 colors, then yeah, absolutely great. Go for screen print. If they come to you and they say, I want something that looks like this or like this, and it's got more than 5 colors in it, or it's got a great amount of gradient or detail or something like that you're not going to be able to achieve with a screen print, it's going to be more cost effective for you guys to choose the ultra color method, because obviously the more sheets you order, the lower the price gets. And also if it's full color, it's better to go with ultra color, again, from a cost point of view, but also from a capability point of view from the transfer. So just to obviously touch on the fact that we do have lots of different transfer types available, and there is a transfer type to suit what you want to do. We do have other live videos. Stahls TV and Stahls UK have plenty of videos on different heat transfer types, how to work with them, how to use them. So just go and check those videos out if you are getting started. But yeah, it doesn't always have to be whichever transfer they request. You need to be able to sort of figure out which one you want to use first and foremost for that decoration type. So we've got, let's have a look at the comments. Who have we got? Oh, we've got Darren, who joins us every week. Hello to Darren. We've got Levite Apparel. Have I said that correctly? I think I have. And we've also got Jason Tompkins. Hello, it's nice to see you. Thanks for joining us.
What's up, Jason?
I can see Jason on there. He's popping up in the LinkedIn comments.
And Darren's only about 45 minutes from me, so I think that's always fun to see him.
Seriously, he joins our lives every week, and we're very, very grateful for that.
And he's always very polite, and he always says good morning, even though it's afternoon for us.
It's morning for us, so good morning, Darren. Good afternoon in UK.
Oh dear. Okay, so shall we move on to the next machine? So Kelly's just gone over the auto open. I want to touch on the Fusion IQ for a little bit, just because we get a lot of questions on, you know, the differences between the auto open and the Fusion, which one you should go for and when, and sort of at what point you should be leveling up. So to just run over this machine and the basic previews of it, instead of being that clam heat press that Kelly was working with earlier, this is a swing and a draw. So as you can see, if I pull the lower platen out here, this is the draw motion, and it creates a nice heat-free workspace. As you can see, we're totally clear of this heating element. So if I'm loading my garment on here and I'm placing a particular design and I want to be really specific with the placement, I'm not working under that heat constantly, which is one of the reasons why a lot of people opt for this machine. Now, you can also, this is locked, bear with me. I was using this earlier and I couldn't have it in the swing mode, so I locked it. But there is a gold dial on the side of the press here, and you just twist it and it locks the machine in place. So when it's not locked, this machine swings away like this. So you can have it completely swing back. And again, you've got that heat-free work surface here. Sorry, the floor here is on a slight angle, so it's going to knock back into me. But you've got that heat-free workspace here without having to have the drawer. Or, I mean, you can do both, but I mean, that's kind of unnecessary. So complete heat-free workspace, which is one of the reasons we love this machine, especially if you are going to be under it all day and you don't, you know, it does get warm working with the press, depending on how, like what temperature you have this set to. Even if you're using the lowest temp transfer, there's still a decent amount of heat coming out of this. And sometimes you don't want to be under that all day. So that's one of the reasons people opt for applying this. Another reason is accuracy, because if you're doing a transfer or you're placing a transfer that has, you know, if you're layering vinyl, which I know is something Kelly and myself love to do, Kelly probably more so than me, but if you are doing maybe like different layers of vinyl and you want to place them like really, really perfectly, being able to stand sort of really close to the press without worrying about touching that heat is also another benefit. The Fusion IQ has, as Kelly calls the brain, which is my favorite way of explaining this, the Fusion IQ control panel and touchscreen controls that you have on here. I wonder if I can actually just change my camera angle ever so slightly and zoom in on this. There we go. Hopefully everyone can kind of roughly see what I'm talking about here. Beth's just going to adjust me. Thank you very much. So this is the Fusion IQ control panel. So if I click into here, you've got the library, which stores all of your different heat transfer designs. Can they see that screen, Beth?
I don't think the angle's quite right.
Can you point it down a little bit and zoom in?
No.
Okay, I'm going to keep going. So if you hit the library here, like I said, it has all of the different recipes in the portal. I'm not bothered about my face being in it. Just zoom in on the IQ.
Won't go any further.
There we go. We'll go with that. So it has all the different recipes on here, including heat transfer vinyl. We've got the custom heat transfer. So the 1 to 5 color screen here that Kelly was working with earlier. We've got our set to Ultra Color Max today, which is what we're going to be fusing. And you can also add your own design and recipes as well. So if you are working with a particular product that you find works better with, you know, a slightly different fuse temp, or you want to add something of your own and name it or save a particular preset, you can do that with this machine. Then once you've saved and you've selected what you want to print, so your transfer or vinyl type, you get the digital readout display here. So what Kelly was using with the auto open, the blue features were doing the time and the temperature, which is what we've got here. And then the little red bit at the bottom corner, which was reading out the pressure, we have here in the middle. So if I pull this down, it then changes to what the pressure is. So we're on a 4 at the moment. It counts down, and then it lights up telling us that we have to remove the heat from the platen. One thing you've probably just noticed about what I've been doing with this machine is that it is more of a manual open. So you pull it down the same as you would the auto open, but once this timer runs out, this press does not automatically open. You do have to physically lift this yourself, which is fine, and you can adjust. If you have it on, like I have mine on an equipment cart right now. Sorry, Beth, can I get you to pan that back out to normal? Sorry. So I have got my Fusion IQ on this equipment cart right here. So I can increase or decrease the height of this heat press based on who's using it, right? So you don't want to have a heat press that's really, really low or really, really high, because it's going to like strain your back if you're doing press after press every day. You want it to be set for the user, and having this equipment cart just makes that super easy. But it does come with a tabletop, almost caddy sort of stand built in with this. So as you can see, we've got that threadability completely built into this press here with the stand. So you don't need the additional counter caddy or caddy stand. If you want to have it be portable, like I just said, you can, this equipment cart has wheels, so you have that option. But in terms of just using it day to day, getting it out of the box, putting it on a work surface, you've got that threadability feature that you need built into this machine. So that's another reason that people choose to go with the Fusion IQ over the Auto Open once they get to that level in their business. What else have I missed, Kelly, on the Fusion that's sort of a significant difference? Obviously, the heating element, the pressure, the adjustable pressure here is all the same for this one. I think it's mainly the swing, the draw, the Fusion IQ, and the built-in threadability, right?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things about the IQ is that I call it the brain for multiple reasons. You have the presets that you can set, right? So for me, like I'm hitting that mode button anytime I want to change materials or time temperatures. With the brain inside of the Fusion, that's a touch of a button. You have to manually adjust the pressure on both of them, but it's really kind of one of those set it, forget it type of things. You put it in there, you can customize your settings. And I believe you have 3, Molly, correct me if it's 4, but 3 different type of presses. The autoclave only has 2, so that could be a pre-press and then your final press, where Molly can set it up to a pre-press and then a step. So it really gives you the ability to set it and forget it with whatever materials you're consistently using over and over. Or maybe you had to really, really pinpoint and narrow down an application for a particular product, and you need it to set here. That way you don't forget it or write it down somewhere else and it's lost. The other thing is that has a Wi-Fi connection to be able to run reports. And I think that's key when you are looking at your production, your efficiency, if you're reviewing any type of errors, especially if it's something where you took on a job and maybe it's a little bit more labor intensive than a standard application like we did for Goof Proof. And you really want to make sure that you are accurately charging for the effort that you put into it. That gives you the ability to go back and see, like, you know what, I only did 50 presses today, and that's because each garment was taking me 5 minutes or 10 minutes. That really gives you the ability to hone in on your ROI on terms of what products you're offering, the type of system in terms of application. And then I also have to say, Molly, if I missed it, there is an auto on feature for the brain. So both of
You
our
are correct. Yes.
the system, if it's not used, if this isn't in active mode after a period of time, it's going to automatically shut off. Okay, the heating element is gonna go down. It's gonna cut off. That way, this puppy isn't on for 10 hours a day, and the next thing you know, you have a furnace or a potential fire. They'll
Or
both,
a very large electric bill.
yeah, very. Thank you. That's probably not more important, but it's definitely important. I'm like, is it more important than a fire? No, but
At this point in time, maybe.
But with the Fusion, so the IQ system, there is an auto on. So if you know that you need that up and running to be on at 8 o'clock, so you can be in there pressing by 8:30, you can set that. And there is a schedule to set that. So the brain isn't just about being able to have application settings in there to automatically adjust the time and the temperature for you. It really encompasses so much more in terms of maybe kind of like a heat press manager in your system. It's your like your little assistant where you don't have to think or really filter through papers to figure out what you need.
Yeah. And from a technology point of view with this one, like Kelly just said, having the ability to turn it on before you even get into the building, the workshop, the room of your house that the press is in, it's just taking that decision and that task out of your agenda for the day. So it just makes your life that bit easier. And in terms of reporting on this one as well, when we're talking about scaling a business, this one, when you can report on all of the different settings from your printing, that really helps when you do start to hire, say, additional staff in and you're not the one doing the pressing. You still want to make sure that every single application that's going through your business is as high a quality as if you yourself, the business owner, were doing it. So being able to actually log on to the cloud and see, if there, for example, were a batch of t-shirts that went out through your shop and there was a slight error with them, you can go back and look on your Wi-Fi reporter and say, oh, okay, well, there was, the pre-press didn't happen on that day, or, there was a couple of seconds knocked off the time, or you can see every little detail about what this heat press has done day to day, press to press. So you can accurately report on that. So it allows you to keep, I don't really want to use the word keep tabs, but also kind of keep tabs on, what's going on in your business if you're not there. But also it also allows you to make your business more efficient. So if you do see that one particular method is taking longer than another, it gives you the opportunity to sit down and go, right, let's see if we can fix that, or is there a way that we can make this a bit quicker without compromising on quality, etc. So there's a lot of different things. I mean, I love it for the pre-programmed numbers. I don't have to remember what everything applies at. It remembers for me. I set it. It gives me the exact amount that I need to press for time-wise, and I don't have to actually remember that, which, let's be honest, I sometimes forget. We have so many vinyls. Who can remember what they all apply at? I can't. So this is a game changer for that, and I love it. But I do also, yes, I do sometimes forget about everything else amazing that it does from a business perspective. So love that. Let's do a little fuse with this now. So I'm going to use the draw feature on this just so that it brings my pattern a bit closer to the camera. You're right.
Before we get started with the fuse, I did have a question for Kelly, but one of our friends of Stahls UK on Instagram has just answered the question for us. So
fabulous. We love that.
ASAP_Kidman asked, can I order from the USA? And Phil, our lovely friend, has answered, go on the Stahls USA page to order. So thank you so much, Phil. You're doing Kelly's job for her. It's brilliant.
Great. We love that. Okay, so yes, Stahls.com or transferexpress.com if you want heat presses and transfers. So from an application perspective, exactly the same principle as what Kelly did. We're going to split those layers of the t-shirt. We're going to thread. And like I said, this has the threadability built into it. So from the second you pull this heat press out the box, you have threadability already. So one of my favorite features and an essential as a garment decorator. I'm going to give this is on setting number 1, which is, oh, thank you, Beth. This is setting number 1, which is our pre-press for 5 seconds. And I've got this set to 145 degrees because we're going to do Ultracolor Max DTF on this one today. So pull it down, check that our pressure is accurate. So that's on a 5, so that's perfect. From a pressure point of view, we always recommend between 4 and 6 for medium pressure, tends to be at what we say. Which transfer should we use? Take a pick.
Oh, do I get to pick?
Yeah, pick one. Left or right? Wait, is it my left or I don't know?
I don't know. I love them both, but I kind of think it's fun to do. It's now my, what is that?
It's now not me,
it's you.
Oh, yep.
It's not me, it's you, Kelly.
I love it.
Right, I'm going to have to do my straight placement. Bear with me. Right, and I am fusing this. I was going to say placing and fusing at the same time. That's not a word. I'm placing this right at the edge of the platen. And one of the things that I always push with Hotronics presses is the accuracy of the heating element and the pressure, right? So this machine isn't a clam. This will come down flat on the press. But even with the auto open that Kelly was using, you'll notice that with a lot of cheaper import presses, they'll close down at the back first and then come to the front. Whereas the auto clam, even though it's a clam, it will come down like this and it will completely flat close onto the garment. So your pressure throughout the entire thing is so accurate. And the rods, same thing, rods that are micro wound throughout the platen are so accurate, so efficient, and they are spread all over. It means that you're going to get accurate heat on your press, whether you're pressing the teeniest, tiniest transfer here, or whether you're doing the biggest back print or front print, whatever it may be. So we're just going to put this on the edge of the platen, and I have no concerns that it won't stick at all. Just going to cover it with some release paper. And we're going to hit this for 12 seconds. So we've got the timer on there counting down. The pressure is flicking between a 5 and a 6. So that's how accurate the pressure readout is on these machines. Just the simple fact of a piece of release paper and the transfer has got it flickering to the next level. It beeps very loudly to tell you that it's done, so you won't ever forget. And then because this is DTF, this is a hot peel. So as you can see, nothing left on that carrier sheet. And there we have our finished t-shirt.
That's so fun.
That's cute. Oh, God.
No, I think you guys always have some of the best art. It's so fun. Like, I love that.
We'll give them a shout out to our studio department who have been doing all of our designs lately, and they are so good, so fun. I'm so excited for everyone to see the artwork that we have got for Printwear and Promotion this year, our trade show in Feb. It's going to be so good, and I'm so excited about it. I can see them. I printed some this morning, and they're like just over there, and they look amazing.
One thing really quick that I do want to kind of point out, and actually if you can show both of us, it's probably going to be better. There is, with the Fusion and the autoclam, there's two different ways that we are actually engaging that heating element onto the platen. So if you notice, my hand is up, right, for this autoclam. So I'm going from an up to a down motion, where Molly is going from an out to an in motion. So that one's going to be a little bit more of an ergonomic in terms of movement. And then same thing for the autoclam is what I call more of like your body weight. Right. So it really depends on the type of movement that you enjoy. Some people will go to the clam and they're like, nope. And then some people will go to the Fusion and they're like, no, I like this, but I really like how it auto opens on the clam. So when you're trying to consider presses, yes, the brain of the IQ is fantastic, but keep in mind that you are using this press ideally every single day, multiple times. So it is important to also feel comfortable as you are going through your application process. For me, I personally love the up and down movement. And I think it's just because I just naturally just like put my weight into it. But I know with the Fusion, if it is at a certain height for me, this feels odd. So if it's more at my stomach or my belly button, it's a little bit easier to maneuver. So height does matter on where your press is set up. I'm 5'4", Molly, I know you're taller than me. So
5'9", yeah.
So where the press is going to be set up is also going to dramatically change the amount of effort that you're putting in that application process.
Yeah. And just because this has the Fusion IQ brain as such, doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have this press to scale your business. Where I have people that have come into us here in the UK before, they've bought the Auto Open and they're still using it 5-10 years later with their business, and they've got 2 or 3 of them, and that's running their shop. You know, you don't always need this one. It really is down to personal preference. And the great thing about Hotronics machines is that they are all built to last, and they're built to grow with your business. So regardless of which one you get, it's not a case of, oh, if I, you know, get the more expensive one, it will last longer. No, those heating elements will all last the same. It just depends on, you know, how much, I wouldn't say how much efficiency you want. Obviously, that kind of comes with the Fusion IQ brain, but there are also so many efficiencies you get with the Auto Open. Like Kelly said, you can add threadability. You've got the interchangeable patterns. You've got that pressure readout and adjustment, which is one of the most important things when pressing. So they're really, it does just come down to your personal preference. So that's a great feature about the presses. Should we move on to the 360? Kelly, do you want to spin us over to your, I don't know why, Kelly's disappeared. There we go.
There she is.
Do you want to move on to the 360? Because I know that obviously we want to run through the Air Fusion, but I'm conscious of time and I would much rather get in a bit of the 360 if we can.
Absolutely. Okay, let me figure out the best positioning for this because, okay.
Oh, there we go.
So this is our 360 IQ hat press. Now, if you notice, I said IQ. So this brain is identical to the brain that Molly just went over that's in the Fusion IQ. So functionality, system, format, setup, memory, exact same. Okay, so we don't really need to go over this portion. The highlight, I think, to the 360 is really understanding that we have upper and lower heat in this. Now, it is called the hat press, but I want to be very adamant in saying it's whatever you can fit on that heating element, okay? Because there are sometimes when we are at shows and people don't even think about putting bags, putting left chest polos,
neck labels, neck tags.
Neck labels, yes. Like anything that goes over this and fits within the dimension of the application. Same thing for here if you're using the lower heated element. It's whatever you can fit here. So if you are considering doing events, this is still an excellent press to also have at events because you can do headwear, you can do left chest, you can do bags, you could do socks, right? There's so much more than just hats, even though this was specifically designed to make sure that you have some beautiful headwear that is printed by using heat. So this is a silicone rubber covering the heating element underneath. Right now, we are at 280 top, 320 on the bottom. And the reason why lower heat is so important is because when we're using thicker embellishments, so this is faux suede. When it's something like this, we can easily reduce time and temperature by using the lower heat. If we don't have the 280, 320, then we're going to be running really hot at like 360 for almost, it's like 45 to 60 seconds. So when you're talking about fibers that could potentially be damaged, 360 is drastic compared to 280. If there is going to be any scorching on any item, it's going to be inside where people really aren't going to notice it. So if you are working with a certain budget and you really want to maximize your capabilities, keep this in mind to be able to have as an added press or something in terms of, you know, goal oriented. I really want to add this in X amount of time. Headwear has really, really taken our industry by storm simply because you can do embroidery, you can do woven, you can do suede, you can do leather, we can do dimensional, we can do PVC or silicone. right? Like it just completely opens it up, and on top of screen print, on top of vinyl, on top of twill. So I am going to grab my hat. Now we call this flex style in the States, and you guys call it.
We have got, it's our 3D embossed. So excuse the Target branding on this. We are having some Stahls ones made, but these are the badges that are identical to what Kelly's using for the UK, and you can get them over here as well.
So I believe the one that you're showing has a little bit of texture in it. This one definitely has more of a domed, we'll see how puffy it is on the item. I can't remember if this is supposed to be domed or flat in the way we ordered it, but let's go ahead and apply this. I'm set for 30 seconds. Let me grab my pad because that's extremely important. Now, the other thing that I always have questions at shows is, what do I need for this? We've gone over platens with our flat presses. You don't need anything else with this unless you need thermo tape or a flexible application pad because you're working with maybe, twill vinyl. These pads, there's actually a third one. They all come with the 360. So when you get this unit, you get everything you need. You don't need interchangeable platens down below. It's one and done. Now, this will not work for youth. And I've noticed that some women's hats don't really work well on this. But I'm also very much one that's like, if there's a will, there's a way, and you'll figure it out. But these pads are what you need for dimensional products, and they do come with the heating element. So I'm going to flip up the sweatband, and then what I'm going to do is really I call it scooping. Okay, so I'm going to scoop the heating element. So with everything up, I'm going to come around the side because remember, this is very hot, and I'm just going to scoop the hat onto the platen. Now, it would help if I had my brace up. So now from here, what I want to do, and you guys can't see it, but I'm really making sure that the top part of the hat is relaxing with the heat. So let me see. I'm going to do my best. Bear with me on this. So, and there's my trash can, guys. Woo. Okay. So anytime you have a hat and there might be a little bit of air, it's really, really important to make sure that you are giving a little bit more pressure on the material.
Oh dear, we're having technical difficulties, guys. Bear with us.
She's coming back.
She'll be back with us in 1 minute.
She'll be back. She got too excited over the 360.
It was all of those technical angles we were trying to get. Hello again.
Did you guys see my computer just go whoop off the back? Yeah. So my dog's freaking out, so I really apologize. It's okay, Maple, and maybe I'll show you my.
Oh, please show us.
You want me to
show you? Yeah.
Hold on. So this is my babe. Come here. You want to come here? Come here.
We have to feature her in the live.
Okay. So this is my baby. This is my Maple.
Oh wow!
Can you say hi, guys? So this is my little nugget.
Is this her first feature in a Stahls live?
Yeah. She heard it and came running in like something is happening in this world. So she'll be one in March. But yeah, that's my babe. Okay, so back to the
Oh, Kelly, I think you've just lost a bit of sound.
Hello.
There we go. I can hear you now.
Okay, so back to what I was saying. It's really important to make sure that you are working that material down and around the heating element. Yes, it is hot, but what you're doing is relaxing those fibers. That way they mold just a little bit better over the platen. The idea is to make sure that we don't have any creases. We have a beautiful press. And at the end of the day, it's to make sure that you're offering a premium product when it comes to headwear. no matter what transfer you're using, okay, no matter what price point, the idea is to make sure that your customers feel like they're getting something that is premium. Okay, so now that our bubbles have been released, I am going to take, we're going to attempt to scoot you back up just a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to take my transfer. This is a little tacky. It's not too tacky. So if you are wanting to make sure something does not move, then the best thing you can do is either use some thermo tape or, and do you guys call it thermo tape?
We call it, is that the heat tape you're using there
Yes.
to stick in place? Yeah, we just call it heat tape, but it's the same thing.
Okay, so I'm actually not going to use that, but what I'm going to do is just hold my transfer in place for just a couple of seconds, and it's going to automatically start warming up that adhesive. So in terms of not having to use something else, just give it a couple of seconds, and right now it's already starting to get locked into place. So I'm going to take my flexible application pad. I'm going to sit that on top, and then I'm going to close. It is a clamshell type of press, so it's going to go like this. But the cool thing is you get the brain, and you also get an auto open in the 360, which I am a huge fan of. I always say that I chase a lot of squirrels. Okay, I talk about it frequently. I'm trying not to show you guys my whole office because it's a mess, but I love to multitask. And if you are a person that is solo or you're running on slim type of staffing and you're constantly doing things, I love knowing that in 30 seconds, this is going to release. Keep in mind, it's still going to be cooking because of that lower heating element, but I'm not worried that it's constantly adding way too much heat and too much pressure. So right here, our lever is going to go down. And then I'm just going to slide our hat off. So that's what it looks like finished.
That looks amazing. I love that design.
We've got dimension. We've got a pattern. We've got gradient. We've got multicolors. And if you notice, the hat is beautiful. There's no creasing whatsoever. And this is a very nice Travis Matthew hat. So we've got a premium transfer with a very premium product, and the pairing is great. Now, I do want to show you one other one because I think it's very important to understand the versatility of this.
Can I interrupt you for a second, Kelly? Yeah. Before we move on, can you just go over the badge type you just covered? Someone's commented saying they missed what type it was just before we jump into the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, this is flex style that is known in the States. And specifically this is, I'm pretty sure this is flat because there's not really some crazy dome on it. So flex style flat. It's unlimited colors. And for those of you that are in the UK, then this is what they call embossed. And you can do texture, you can do matte colors, you can also do metallic. Now, I said I was going to show another one, and Molly, you can tell me no. I know it's 10 o'clock. So do you want me to do another one, or do we want to go on to the air?
Go for it. We'll do another one, and then we'll go on to the air. I'm happy to keep going if you are.
Cool. Okay. So I am going to do this corduroy. Now, this is from a company called Crafted Manufacturing here in the States. And you can do some really, really cool custom pieces with them as well. Now, this I love because it has this corduroy, and this color is very, very popular in terms of trends in retail right now. So same thing. Sweatband's going to come up. I'm going to thread it. Get that latch down. And there's a little bit of a bubble. So I'm just going to really make sure that I've wiggled to where the blue silicone is flat with the bill to make sure that's lined up correctly. And then I'm just going to let that warm up just a little bit. Now, this is faux suede. And I really wanted to show patches that you guys had as well, and you don't have this one, correct?
No, I don't believe we do have any kind of faux suede. We do have a lot of different badges available though. So for those of you that are in the UK and you do want to get started with hat printing, you can print transfers onto hats. And we do also we have rubber, we have woven, we have embossed, we have quite a few. So there are options for you guys to get started. Yeah, there we go. Is that woven or embroidered? We have both of those. There's so many different things you can do.
Oh, and you guys have leather, right? You have genuine leather?
No, we tend to go for rubber, to be honest. I know there's so many things that in terms of hat decorating, I'm hoping we will get them soon.
That's another PVC. So we call it PVC. They call it rubber. So that's just another option, guys. I'm going to decorate this with this one because I'm actually going to use this sample at a trade show coming up. So I'm like, let's just kill two birds with one stone, show you how it's done, and then I can have a merchandising piece, right?
Perfect. We love that.
I'm going to take this. Again, same thing. I'm going to set it on top, right? Now, I could either use thermo tape to tape it down. There was no carrier on this. I like that, Maya. But I'm also going to just hold it for a couple of seconds to warm up that adhesive and just really try to keep my system going as much as possible. Now, for those of you that are thinking, okay, 30 seconds, that's much quicker than doing embroidery. Yes, it is. But the other cool thing is you could have two, and while one is going within that 30 seconds, you're getting the other one going. So it's a great way to keep that production really going quick, or set up, heat apply on your flat press and come back. So I'm all about efficiency and really making sure that we're using our time wisely. So those are just a couple of nuggets to keep into mind. Same application for this. I didn't have to, wow, okay. There we go. I didn't have to change anything. So that's one cool thing about using patches and emblems, is that the settings are going to be very consistent. Now, like Molly said, we have so many products, and some of them have a variety of time, temperatures, and pressure. So again, we could either set it here in the IQ, but the really cool thing is because of the 280 top, 320 bottom, that's a lot of consistency in terms of using a variety of different patches and emblems. So lifting that up, it's caught between the back. And then now we've created a faux suede hat. So we've had the ability to do something that is more of that molded look, and then something that's a little bit more traditional with the faux suede and embroidery. Looks embroidered on, but it's 100% heat applied. So
I think there's so many things as well that the 360 allows us to do. And that is just such a great example of both. Like, even it's not just your like caps and snapbacks now. There are so many different things. We've done beanies before. We've printed like that Sherpa material on the 360 with that top and bottom heat. There are so many things you can heat print onto now, and that's just another great example. Plus it's pink, so you know, love the color. That's great. I think we might have a slight delay on.
Possibly a sound issue.
I think we're back. I think we're good. There's a slight lag, but it might just be in the settings. So we're gonna keep going. So we're gonna go on to the Air Fusion IQ. I think, is there?
my mic was off. Yay!
Oh, there we go. I was like, is she talking to me? I don't want to be rude, but I can't.
No. So one thing I do want to point out is I don't know what this is called. I just know it as a pin tuck. But when it comes to headwear, I know this has like a specific name. But this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panel cap. And as you notice, we heat applied this, but this point is still nice and beautiful. It's not flattened. So I just want to point out again, the type of quality that you can produce. So sorry, Molly, go.
No, that's absolutely fine. I wanted to wrap that one up nicely, but I was like, oh, there's an audio issue. Shall I keep going? Shall I not? So that's the 360. Thank you so much for that, Kelly. I think they're two really, really great examples. The last one I want to touch on for everyone joining us live today. And if you're still with us, then thank you, because we have been going for over an hour, which I absolutely love. I love doing in-depth lives like this. We're going to touch on the Air Fusion IQ. Now, for those of you that were with us for the manual fusion, you'll notice that this is very similar, This is more of an automated machine, however. So the manual Fusion IQ has that handle that you have to pull back and forth whenever you're operating the press. The Air Fusion is operated with these 2 blue buttons on either side, and all you do is hold them in together and the machine comes down, right? So totally hands-free. It's all done via the air compressor, which you can kind of see over there on the floor. And it automatically opens and will swing away. So it still has that complete heat-free workspace that we want from the machine. So you can totally get to every single area of this platen without the heating element getting in the way. Now, we also have the threadability option with this. So we're going to take another t-shirt, split the different sides and load it on. And as you can see from here, perfect threadability with this one. So really, really easy. And you can either get this Air Fusion to come on the stand that I've got it on now, which is the floor version, the caddy stand, or you can get the, pedestal is the word I was looking for. I was racking my brains around what we actually call it on the website, because if you buy it individually, it's caddy stand, but the Air Fusion pedestal, and then we also have the tabletop version, which is very similar to the manual Fusion, which I've got here. So in terms of actually operating the press, there's a foot pedal on the floor, which I've just hit, and the press has come straight back round, ready to go. The Fusion IQ Brain is exactly the same as the manual Fusion, as the 360. They're all the same across all of the machines. It's got the pre-press timer on here for 5 seconds, which is great. And then we can change it to add that second or third timer in as well. We're just going to go with 2 today. Push it down, 3, 2, 1, and it will pop up and move away. Now, from a pressure point of view, one of the main reasons that I love the single Air Fusion and the dual Air Fusion, which is the press that has the 2 workspaces, right? So those of you that have followed us on Instagram will definitely know what I'm talking about, because it's one of my favorites. But that has 2 workstations and 1 heating element head. So it just shuttles between the 2. Now, the pressure from the air machines is all controlled by the air compressor, obviously, but it means that there's no manual adjustment on the top of this press. So if I bring it back round, all I've got on this machine is the on-off switch and the buttons on the side to operate it. There is no manual way for me to adjust this pressure. It's all controlled via the air compressor. So if I've got a t-shirt under here right now, but if I was to put a sweatshirt under here, a thicker hoodie, if I was to put a jacket under here, it would automatically regulate the pressure to what we've set it to be in the brain of the Fusion IQ. So regardless of what you're pressing, you know you're going to have accurate pressure every single time. So the next thing that we're going to do is bring over our transfer. So I'm just going to push the foot pedal again, move it out of the way.
That looks so impressive as well when it swings around like that.
It's just there's the hands free. It's great. We don't need to do anything. So I'm going to do the other transfer. I'm going to do the love one here, and I'm just going to pop it on the t-shirt. I am going to use release paper, which I have just knocked on the floor. Bring it back round. Again, foot pedal, no effort whatsoever. This really takes all of the manual effort out. Hold the 2 buttons down, and it will do all the work for us, which is fantastic. So that's one of the main things that I love about this press, is that regardless of what garment you're decorating, you don't have to worry about that pressure. The machine works it all out for you. So it just takes another sort of area of element out of your fusing. There we go, another design, perfectly done. And then we've also got when we talk about pressure, yes, it's good that if we switch between t-shirts and hoodies, you can, it automatically adjusts the pressure. That's great. That's fantastic. But what happens when we want to change the lower platens, right? Every time you swap out this lower platen, which any machine, any Hotronix machine from the Max client upwards have the interchangeable lower platens. But if you change the lower platen, you're changing the surface area that your press is coming down onto, which means that you are going to have to change the pressure of your press. So if I was to do the Fusion, the manual Fusion, for example, if I was to take the big platen out and put a smaller one on there, I would have to change my pressure a couple of turns either way so that it compensates for the lack of surface area that we've just swapped out for the lower platen. With the Air Fusion, you don't have to do that. It does it for you. So if I was to take this platen out and put a smaller one on and bring it back round, when I push the 2 buttons in and the press comes down to complete the application, the pressure is going to be at the 49 or 50 PSI, regardless of what's underneath it. So it's just another element that you don't have to think about. It really helps increase efficiency. But as Kelly said, you can be as efficient as you want, but if you're not accurate, it makes no difference. So you can be accurate with this, providing you're not, not threading your t-shirt and putting seams on the platen. There is still that certain element of human manual labor that you're going to have to put into the pressing. But in terms of the manually adjusting it, that's all completely gone with this machine. So another reason I love this one, and also you can get it, like I said, in the dual Air Fusion as well. So if you hit the point in your business where you do need, that extra workflow and one platen isn't enough, you can get the dual, which has one platen here, another one here, and the head just shuttles between the two. It's all automatic. It has the foot pedal. It will auto open and move across for you. So you can load one garment as the other is being fused or prepared, etc. So there really is no limit to what you can achieve with your business with these presses. It's just where you're at in your business. It is down to what you can afford as well. So price does come into it, and that's not something that a lot of people do talk about with presses, but we are very transparent with our pricing here at Hotronics. So if you head to the Stahls.com website, everything will be for the US, and then Stahls.co.uk if you're in the UK. From a UK perspective as well, we do have price breakdowns on our heat press pages that let you know how much it will cost you to own your heat press per day. So we break it down by the warranty of the framework and obviously divide it by years and days. And you can own the Hotronics clam that Kelly was using for, I think the number's around 94p per day. So less than £1 or less than $1 a day to own that machine over the course of 5 years. So when you think about that from a payoff perspective, that's nothing in terms of the money that your heat press is going to make you if you're using it correctly. So regardless of where you're at, we have so many presses available. We have elements that can really help you expand your product range, as Kelly explained with the 360. Can we bring Kelly back into frame? I feel like I've lost my co-host.
There she is.
Hi. Is there anything you want to add, Kelly, about just the presses we've been over today, about Hotronics in general? Any advice for people starting out if they say they've watched the live and they're like, oh, I still don't know which one I want, or you don't know where to start? What would you say to them?
Okay, so a lot of answers that I want to give you. The first thing is so funny because I do that exact same thing. I'm like, here's my questions all in one. Okay, so let's start with feeling overwhelmed and you don't know what to do. The best thing you can do is to continue to ask questions, not only to us and our team, but also to yourself. What are you doing with your business? Who are you going after? What is your goal in terms of running with your business? Are you really wanting to make this something? Or is this like, hey, I want to work with a couple of schools because my kids go there? We can help you narrow down what press really will be best for you. And like Molly said, they have a cost calculator in terms of the cost per day to run that press. The other thing I will say is I love to break up cost by jobs. So if that means my press is going to be $2,000 in the States, that means I need 10 orders with 200 pieces making X amount of profit. And then you can either break that down in terms of more jobs, less quantity, less jobs, higher quantity, and then really give yourself a goal on what you need to profit, make, add in your equipment cost into your job. That's the best way to make sure that you are paying that back as well as paying yourself. So my brain works in, okay, I've got 10. Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, blah, and the equipment is paid off. That's just something I like to do and pass on, especially if you're looking at it from a perspective of, oh, that's more than what I was wanting to spend. Is it because at the end of the day, we're getting you a quality press that is meant to grow with you, not just be a temporary thing where you're having to spend money on a new one every 3-6 months? Other question was what?
So if someone is still like, which one do you pick basically? How do you know which heat press to choose? I know that we've gone over all of the different features today, so I'm hoping that 99% of people
Yes.
will now know which one they want and why.
Yep.
But which is your personal favorite? Which would you recommend? I'm guessing it's the one that you have in your house.
So I love the auto clam. I like quick, I like easy, I like efficient. And like I said, I chase a lot of squirrels, guys. I'm working on multiple projects throughout the day. If I need to press something, I love knowing that that auto open is going to release for me and I'm not going to have to hear a beep until I go do that. That's my personal preference. So just because that's my preference doesn't mean that is the end all be all for what you need to go with. So as we've gone over features, it's important to make a list of what's important to you. If you feel overwhelmed, like I said, ask those questions to yourself. What do you want out of your company, out of your business, out of your job, out of your production? Those are very, very important when it comes to making a decision. But also keep in mind, the heat printing industry is very, very affordable in terms of getting into and starting a business. So consider your budget and consider the ability to grow, not spending, say, something like $300 on a very, very cheap press, but then you're going to have to spend that money 3 more times because that press is going to fail for you. Now, in terms of which press is better, there's not a better one. It's all about preference and how you like to fulfill orders, how you like to do your production side.
I think that sums everything up so perfectly. There really isn't one press that we would recommend you. It's always based on what is best for you. And I'm going to keep going. Let's ignore the compressor. It really is based on what is best for you. And that's one of the reasons I love Hotronix so much is not only are they, made in the USA, they've got all the highest quality steel. They've got the longest and, lifetime warranties on the heating elements, which is just fantastic. And you've got that assurance when you are pressing, you know that in 5 years time, in 10 years time, that press is still going to be performing for you. So I think that is fantastic. And there are just so many different ranges. Like I say, I tend to flip. I mean, we have all of the machines down here in the Innovation Centre. So if you are in the UK and you want to come and check them out, then you can come to our show. We actually have a trade show in February, the end of February. I think it's 23rd, 24th to the 26th, end of Feb, that weekend.
Might be the 25th to the 27th.
That sounds better, 25th to the 27th of February in Birmingham at the NEC. It is Printwear and Promotion Live. We're going to have all of the machines on the stand. It is the biggest trade show of the year. So if you are in the UK or in roundabout areas, I would recommend coming. Failing that, we can have people into the Innovation Centre. We do events here all the time. So obviously Printwear and Promotion is the next event that will be available for you to come and see the presses and get hands-on with them. But make sure you're signed up to our newsletter and following us on socials to be informed about the next event that we have got going on in the Innovation Centre here in Braintree in Essex as well. There was another thing I was going to say as well. Oh yes, about handling the presses. So as Kelly said, it is all about which press works best for you. And the reason I love our trade show so much and I love having people into the Innovation Centre here is because they can actually get hands-on with the presses. It's all very well, you can watch us demo them all day long. You can do as much research as you want online, but until you physically handle that press, like Kelly said, you're not going to know how it feels to you to actually use. So if you have the opportunity to come to the show in February, 100% recommend you do that. Like I said, if you don't, follow us on socials, sign up so that you know when the next opportunity is. I know that the US do a lot more trade shows and have a lot more opportunities for you guys to get hands-on with the presses. So if there is something that you want to do over there, then get in touch with Kelly and the team. They'll be happy to help you out and point you in the right direction. But yes, I've really enjoyed today's live. Thank you for coming on and doing this with me, Kelly. I feel like we've got to do the demo section of our masterclass session that we didn't get to do the first time around because we ran out of time.
Absolutely. And you know, I love collaborating with you guys. So anytime you need me, just holler.
Ditto both ways. We absolutely love it. And I think it's great that we can reach so many people as well, just from, you know, the space of our own work. So that's fantastic. If that's everything, we don't have any further questions. Have we got anything on Instagram? No, good. Okay, cool. I'm going to wrap it up then, because we have gone on for longer than usual. But thank you, like I said, Kelly, for joining me. Thank you for everyone for sticking with us. And if you have got any further questions, do get in touch. We'll be happy to answer them. And until then, we'll see you next Friday with another live.
Bye, guys.